We look at ecology. Ecology is one of important topic under biology, and this topic is of unit number 20 under this material I'm using, which is known as the eschool.com. Okay, so this one we are told that the notes or the tape or the content is that organisms continually interact with one another as well as with their surroundings. Ecology is the study of these interactions, and scientists who study these interactions are called ecologists. So what is ecology? In short, ecology is all about the interactions of organisms, and those people who study ecology are known as the ecologists. They are known as ecologists. So we have the other point there where we have ecologists study both the living environment or biotic environment, which consists of all the living things that an organism interact with, and also the physical features affect the type of organisms living in it. That is what ecology is all about. Okay, or the ecology is all about, the study of ecology is all about. So then we have organisms living in an environment are adapted to its physical features. Then we have populations of various species in an environment may live independently, forming ecological community. Populations of various species. Now, we have species such as insects, rats, lizards, different species. They make a population. That population is known as a community, which is ecological community. So community is a population of different species, different kinds of organisms. They make population. They make what is known as community. Now, non-living things, ecologists study both the living environment, which is also known as the biotic environment, which consists of what we have read there. Then we have also the second point, which is studied by the ecologists. It is known as non-living environment or abiotic environment, consists of the following physical factors. Now, we have biotic from the word biology, or biology from the word bio, which means life. So living organisms. But abiotic, it is known as non-living organisms. So we have light intensity, that is non-living organism. Light intensity affects the distribution and the growth of both plants and animals. Then we have temperature. Temperature affects the rate of the actions of enzymes, which control the metabolic or physiological activities of plants as well as animals. Temperature, it affects the rate of reaction of enzymes. Then light intensity affects the distribution and the growth of both plants and the animals. In order for a plant or an animal to grow, it needs light. So that is what light can do, light intensity. From there, we have amount of water available. Non-living environment or biotic environment consists of the following physical factors. The third factor is that amount of water available, as organisms cannot live without water. Now, can you get this? Light intensity, it is a non-living thing. Temperature is a non-living thing. Amount of water or the availability of water, it is also a non-living thing. So, that is what we have. So all those, they are non-living things, but they help living things to grow, living things to interact, living things to live well in the community. So amount of water availability, an organism cannot live without water. The amount of water available is one of the major factors affecting the number and location of plants and animals in a region. Yeah. The more we have water, actually, let me not assume that the more we have water, the more we have organisms. There are other organisms who do not need a lot of water. So water is very important, but it doesn't mean that the more we have water, the more we are going to have a lot of organisms interacting in that community. Okay, we go to the next point. The next point there we have is that is the point to do with the oxygen content. As most organisms are aerobic, not anaerobic, meaning they are aerobic. They need the water. They need the oxygen. So they need oxygen. They require oxygen for respiration, and hence they cannot survive in environments of low oxygen content. Then salinity. Salinity, we have salt concentration of soil or salinity of soil or water, an important factor that affects aquatic organisms. Organisms which are found in water, they live in an water which has got the concentration of salt. What we mean is there is water which has got full of salt, the other one has got moderate, the other one has low salt. There are organisms that balances in such an environment. So salinity, which is salt concentration, also affects the living organisms which are found in water, which are known as aquatic organisms. Then the pH of soil or water affects the types of organisms that can live in such environments. There are such environments. So such environments can only, they can be affected by the pH of soil or water. Okay, then habitat is a place where an organism lives. The place where an organism lives is known as a habitat. Then a community, it is a population of organisms, different species of organisms. They are known as they form what is known as a community. But a habitat, this is a place where organisms are found. Organisms live. So population refers to a group of organisms of the same species. We have read it already. Population refers to a group of organisms of the same species living in a particular habitat. All the populations of organisms, they form what is known as a community. We have read of that one. The community, we have talked about it already. Okay, we have talked about the community. Ecosystem. We go to the ecosystem. Ecosystem. An ecosystem is an ecological system formed by the interaction of living organisms and their non-living organisms. That is what ecosystem is all about. An ecosystem is an ecological system formed by the interaction of living organisms and their non-living organisms or non-living environment. That is what we have. Ecosystem is about interaction of the living organisms as well as the interaction of the other or the non-living organism. Number 8, the living organisms in an ecosystem is made up of, number 1, the producers, which are known as the autotroph, which are mainly green plants or chemosynthetic bacteria that can manufacture food by photosynthesis, which is converting light energy into chemical energy. Then they are also under the same, we find that under the ecosystem, we also find the consumers, obtain their energy and nutrients from the organisms they feed on, which these consumers may be called the herbivores, which feed on green plants, the carnivores, which feed on animals, and the omnivores feed on both animals and plants. This is what we have. Then we have decomposers. In the ecosystem, we have the producers, number one. Please write that one. We have the producers. We have the second one, which is known as the consumers, which are known as these consumers are herbivores, carnivores, omnivores. I want to believe you understand this. The producers, we have talked about them. They're the ones that produce energy, converting light energy into chemical energy, such as those which the green plants. Then we have the decomposers. These are the ones that break down dead organisms and waste matter, taking in some of the energy and releasing the rest into the environment. These are known as the decomposers. A food chain is a linear series of organisms through which energy is transferred in the form of food. The food chain is a linear series of the organisms through which energy is transferred in form of food. So energy is being transferred from one food to another. For example, from the sun, that is energy. It comes to green plants. Green plants, the animal, a cow will go and feed from the green plants. Then an animal will be killed, will be eaten by human beings. Also, human beings will be eaten by other things. That is the food chain we have there. So that is what we have. So a food web is made up of two or more food chains linked together. Here, an animal may eat more than one kind of food and may be eaten by the number of different consumers. The food chain, it is a linear, it is straight. It has nothing to do by one animal eating. It has everything to do with one animal or one organism eating only one type, then the organism being eaten by another thing. But under food web, one organism can eat more than two, or two and more than two type of food. Here an animal may eat more than one kind of food and may be eaten by by a number of different consumers. That is what we have under the food web. The pyramid of numbers allows for the comparison of the number of organisms present in each trophic level at a particular time. The pyramid of the biomass allows for the comparison of the mass of organisms present in each trophic level at a particular time. So the pyramid, the pyramid of a biomass allows for the comparisons of the mass of organisms present in each tropical level at a particular time. We'll look into this one into details. Then we go to the points. We have the biomass is the total weight of living mass. Biomass decreases with each successive level in the food chain. Yes. Then the biomass decreases as the trophic level increases. Yes, it decreases. Producers are present in the largest quantity of biomass. That is correct. Number 13, the pyramid of energy represents the total energy in the various trophic level of a food chain. Then producers occupy the first trophic level at the base of the pyramid, having the largest amount of energy. Then the quantity of energy which is available to the next trophic level decreases. That is what we have. Then number 14, we have the table below compares the pyramid of biomass and the pyramid of energy. Maybe before we repeat that one, the pyramid of energy represents the total energy in the various tropical levels of the food chain. Producers occupy the first trophic level at the base of the pyramid, having the largest amount of energy. The quantity of energy which is available to the next trophic level decreases. That is correct. Let's see the comparison. The table for the pyramid of biomass related to the biomass of the organisms. The pyramid of energy related to the energy content of the organisms. That is correct. constructed based on the biomass at any given time. Constructed based on the energy content over a period of time. Correct. Does not consider the rate of reproduction of organisms. Takes into consideration the rate of reproduction of organisms. Okay. That is what we have. Then we have the carbon cycle. We have the carbon cycle there.